How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle. Today we're having a battle versus Envious from the Discord server in the OU tier. Go ahead and join the Discord server. It's the best place to go for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battles right now. There is a link in the description down below. And with that being said, let's jump into the team preview. Okay, Envy's brought some power as usual. They've got a Quaquaval, a Garganacl, a Rotom Wash, Cinderace, a Lycanroc Midnight, or is that Dusk? I think it's Dusk. And an Espeon. So we've both got the Espeon Cinderace idea, which is pretty cool. Basically, looking at this, Garganacl is going to be a bit of a pain to deal with. I feel like they might lead off with something like the Lycanroc or the Espeon to stop Stealth Rocks from our Landorus, but I could be completely wrong there. They might lead off with Rotom. I think I'm going to lead off with Landorus, because I have a feeling they're going to lead off with either Cinderace or Lycanroc, so I'm going to go with that. And the battle begins. So Envy's going to lead off with Light, which is going to be the Rotom Wash, as we lead off with Landorus. So not the best lead for us. We definitely don't want to stay in against this Rotom Wash. And also no face cam today because I'm not really feeling too hot. That's pretty much all I can say about that. So I'm going to go straight into my Amoonguss because Amoonguss pretty much walls this thing unless it goes for Trick. But I don't think it'll Trick. I think it's more likely to go for a Hydro Pump after that. To get some damage off on something. So we'll go Amoonguss real quick. There we go. We go for a Will-O-Wisp. That's even better. Amoonguss doesn't really care about the burn. It's a little bit of chip damage every turn, but it's absolutely fine. We've got leftovers anyway, so it nullifies it, which is fine. So we're going to take some burn damage, of course. What we can do now is we can fire off a Spore if we want to. We can fire off a Spore, or we can go for a Foul Play. I'm thinking Foul Play for the Espeon. Because they definitely switch out here. What they go into, though, they could go Garganacl to be immune to the Spore, but we could Grass Knot it then, if they do that, or they can go Espeon. So I'm going to go for a Foul Play, expecting the Espeon. They do go for a Volt Switch as expected, does minimal damage to Amoonguss, and the good thing about Espeon is that it can handle Amoonguss pretty well. That was a crit as well, no, crit Volt Switch, nice. So we'll just go ahead and go for a Foul Play as they switch in their Faith, which I'm assuming is the Espeon. It is the Espeon, which is good to note, we go for the Foul Play, get some nice chip damage off on the Espeon. It's not much because Foul Play is based off the opponent's Pokemon attack stat, and Espeon's not exactly the biggest attacker in the world. It's a special attacking beast, but not a physical attacker. No way. No way, Jose. So Amoonguss got some chip damage off, which is always nice. Now, our best switching's probably going to be at the Scizor, but they might expect that and Tera Fire. So, do I want to go into Walking Wake instead? Walking Wake does a lot for me, though. That's the problem with Walking Wake. It does a lot for me. If we can get rid of that Rotom, it actually does a lot to that team. So I think I'm going to go into my Cinderace, expecting them to go for a Tera Blast Fire. They do withdraw instead. They're going to make a double switch, and they're going to go into their Psy. Psy? Is it Psy? That's their Cinderace. So if their Cinderace comes in, my Cinderace is going to come in right now. They're probably thinking, why are you going into Cinderace? Cinderace is not switching to Espeon. Well, I was convinced you were going to go for Tera Fire, to be honest with you. But I guess he goes into Cinderace expecting our Scizor to come in, which makes a lot of sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to U-turn. I'm pretty confident they won't attack us. They do go ahead and go last, which is good to note. As our U-turn does a lot of damage to their Cinderace, which is great. So we'll switch out real quick, and I think we'll go straight into Landorus. Landorus has got the Rocky Helmet, so if they go for the U-turn, we get a bit more chip damage on their Cinderace, which is great. So we'll go Landorus real quick. There we go, nice and powerful. Get the Intimidate off, which is great. And then they go for a U-turn, which is going to do minimal damage to us. So they are Libero, of course, as you would be with a Cinderace. Does minimal damage, and we get some Rocky Helmet chip, which is nice. So there we go. The Cinderace is going to go ahead and go back to Envy, and we're probably going to see a Rotom Wash switch right now. In comes Quaquaval, the reliable partner, which is, of course, the Quaquaval, as I said. So I'm going to go into Amoonguss right now. I know they're going to go for an Ice Spinner, but I'm pretty confident we can take an Ice Spinner. And there's always the chance to go for an Aqua Step to try and get the speed up, so I don't want that to happen. So we'll go into Magic real quick, Magic the Mushroom over here. They go for an Ice Spinner as expected, and it does minimal damage to us because we're physically defensive AF. So Amoonguss, never sleep on Amoonguss, especially when it comes to a Quaquaval's Ice Spinner. It's a very powerful Pokemon, Quaquaval. It doesn't look it by looking at it, but it really is. Once it gets going, once it gets the Aqua Step Moxie boost and everything like that, it's a threat to deal with. So knowing they're going to go into the Espeon or the Garganacl right now, I'm going to go for a Grass Knot. They do withdraw the Quaquaval. Now, the reason I think they might go Garganacl is because they saw Foul Play earlier. They do actually go straight back into Espeon though, which is fair enough. Let's see how much damage Grass Knot does out of curiosity to the Espeon. So we'll go for the Grass Knot. It does a little bit of chip damage. Not the best damage in the world, but a little bit of tip damage. That's good enough for me. The Espeon is a big threat, but having it out of the way is going to be great. Now again, there is the possibility of the Tera Fire here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead. I don't think I need Cinderace as much as they think we do. So I'm going to go Cinderace again. I'm going to do what I did before. Go Cinderace again. And if they go for a Psychic here and KO us, it's not that big of a deal. Cinderace isn't necessarily important. They go for a Psychic here. They went straight for the KO on the Amoonguss. They weren't trying to predict. And they get a lot of damage off on us. So that's fine. We could Sucker Punch them. Could Sucker Punch them. That is true. But then that gives them a free switch into whatever they want to go into. So I'm going to go for the Sucker Punch anyway, because I feel like they're going to stay in. They're going to expect us to switch out or something along those lines. They definitely might not expect the Sucker Punch, that's for sure. They do withdraw. Okay, so I should have probably seen that coming, but again, it's risky. Really risky. So in comes Lycanroc the Spacey, which is their Lycanroc, of course. Why Lycanroc the Spacey? What ribbon do you need to get that? That's pretty cool. I like that. So anyway, this thing can get Stealth Rocks all over our face. Unless we go into Espeon. Kind of don't want to go into Espeon though. I kind of want to go Landorus because they're probably going to go for an Accelerock. So I'm going to go into the Landorus real quick. I would go into Espeon to block the Stealth Rocks, but it's probably not the best idea because they can two-shot us with their Accelerock really. So they're going to go ahead and get a Eject Pack. Oh, okay, so Intimidate forces Eject Pack. I knew that already, actually. That happened to me the other day. I forgot all about it, though. I didn't know it was Eject Pack, to be fair, so how am I going to know that's going to happen? In comes Quaquaval once again. The man, the myth, the legend, the Quaquaval. So this thing is a pain in the bum. I definitely think we go into Amoonguss here, because we can take two Ice Spinners, but they might not go for Ice Spinner. They might go for Aqua Step, expecting the Cinderace to come in, so... And I don't want them to get a Moxie boost. That's the last thing I need this Quaquaval to get. So I'm going to go straight into Amoonguss. They might predict this and go into the Espeon or the Cinderace. If they do that, that's a good play on their behalf. Withdrawing Landorus, Farian, and we're going to go into good old Amoonguss. Now, they should be faster than our Landorus, so if they did double switch right now, it would have already happened. So let's see what happens. They go for a U-turn. Right, okay. They go for a U-turn. Now, I'm going to have to make a ballsy play here. I think they're going to go Espeon. And I think what we need to do is we need to make a ballsy play. And I think the best thing to do here, because we need a Amoonguss for the Quaquaval, so they're going to bring in Espeon again. Espeon's proving to be a bit of a pain. So Espeon comes on in, which is fine by me. We have a couple of options here. So we can make the really ballsy play of staying in, but I don't see how that will benefit us because we can't one-shot them anyway. Or we can make the switch in Scizor. I'm thinking the switch in Scizor is a good one, but they might Tera Fire. Like I said before, they might Tera Fire. I think I'm going to just risk it for a Chocolate Biscuit. We don't necessarily need Scizor to win this game. If anything, we just need Scizor to take out the Espeon and the Lycanroc with a Bullet Punch, potentially. So let's see what happens here. So they go for a Psychic. Fair enough. They go for the Psychic. And you know what? I'm starting to think that thing is Specs. Starting to think it's Specs. So let's see how this plays out for us. So let's go for... Because I don't know it's Specs for sure, for definite. We are specially defensive, I believe. I'm going to go for the U-turn now. They do withdraw the Espeon. So I went for the U-turn because I was like, you know what? We are specially defensive and we definitely didn't take that as well as we would like. So we get U-turned out into Garganacl. They're going to go into the Garganacl. We're going to U-turn out on it, sorry. Does minimal damage to the Garganacl, but it's fine. I never know how to pronounce that thing's name. Garganaki. I don't know. Anyway, we don't know what set they are for a start. We don't want to go into Walking Wake just yet. We kind of want to go into Landorus. So I'm going to go Landorus. And the reason I'm going Landorus is because A, that U-turn did decent damage. B, we can get an Intimidate off, which would be great. And C, we could potentially taunt this thing, stopping it from getting up Stealth Rocks. Well, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now. So I'm going to go for my own Stealth Rocks. I want to get them up. As there we go, Stealth Rocks come through. Boom. There we go. Right, so cool. So let's see what happens here. They go for a Body Slam. Is that meant to be Body Press, or is it Body Slam actually legit? So we get some Rocky Helmet chip anyway, which is great on the Garganacci. I'm assuming they wanted to have Body Press on there, not Body Slam. But I could be wrong. Really could be wrong. I'm going to go for a U-turn right now. Because I just don't want to stay in against this thing and get Salt Cured. So I'm going to switch out. And I'm going to go into my Espeon. And the reason we're going Espeon is because Psychic at this point hits everything on their team incredibly hard. It definitely hits them incredibly hard. If they go for another Body Slam, which I don't think they will because I think they've just realized they haven't got Body Press, they've got Body Slam. So they go for a Salt Cure. Yep, there we go. Salt Cure comes through. Does a decent bit of chip damage to our Espeon. Our non-shiny Espeon, because shiny Espeon's definitely ucky. So let's go ahead and go for a... I'm thinking Trick, because they haven't got to switch into Espeon right now. I'm thinking Trick's best way to go. Or I'm thinking just all-out attack. Let's Trick. I think they're going to go for a Recover. We go for the Trick. There we go. We're going to Trick their Garganacci. Give it a Choice Specs, which is great. And then they're probably just going to go for a Recover right now, right? Body Slam. Fair enough. Body Slam comes through. Doesn't paralyze us. But we have got leftovers recovery, which is great. Thanks to the Trick. And we're going to get some Salt Cure this turn, which is obviously fine. But Espeon's doing good right now. Espeon's doing real good right now because they are now locked into Body Slam. So knowing they're locked into Body Slam, we can go into Scizor and start setting up some Swords Dances. Which is exactly what I'm going to do. So now that we know that they're locked into Body Slam, we can Scizor, we can set up some Swords Dances. We can go from there. So we'll go in Scizor real quick. There we go. They go for a Body Slap. It's going to do minimal damage to us. Obviously, it might paralyze us. It doesn't paralyze us, which is great. We're going to set up Scizor Swords Dance right now. See what they do. They're actually going to stay in, which is interesting. What are they going to go for? They're just going to go for another Body Slam? Another Body Slam comes through. There we go. They're trying to get the Paralysis, aren't they? They're really trying to get the Paralysis. I'm going to get up another Swords Dance now. Scizor looks like he's going to do a lot of damage to their team now, which is great. So we go for another Swords Dance. There we go. Swords Dance comes through. Get up to +4. Should be fine to take out this. I actually kind of want them to paralyze us, but they haven't, which is annoying. I want them to paralyze us so the Rotom can't Will-O-Wisp us. That's what I'm mainly going for there. So we'll go take out the Garganacl with a +4 Bullet Punch, which is great. We finally got a KO on their team. As now they probably just go into the Rotom because Cinderace is low on HP. Lycanroc gets taken out. Espeon gets taken out. Quackable can't really take us out in one shot, and we can easily go for a dual Wing Beat. In comes Light, which is going to be the Rotom, I believe. It is the Rotom. So Rotom comes on in. It's going to get some Stealth Rock damage, which is great. We can expect a Will-O-Wisp here. So I kind of want to go into a Moongus. Really want to go into a Moongus if he's going for a Will-O-Wisp. Because we can still use Scizor for later. Let's go into a Moongus. And we'll just absorb whatever Will-O-Wisp or Thunder Wave they want to go for because we're already burned. So we'll go into a Moongus real quick. There we go. Lovely jubbly. They go for a Will-O-Wisp. Obviously it doesn't work because a Moongus is there. Moongus is all-knowing and all-loving. They lost the Garganacl, which is great, so we don't have to deal with that anymore, which means we don't necessarily need a Moongus for too much other than the Rotom and the Quackable, and to an extent the Lycanroc. So let's go ahead and go for a Spore right now. No, because if we go for a Spore, they're going to Volt Switch here. So I say we go for another Foul Play. I think Foul Play is the best option for us. They go for a Hex. How much damage is that doing? A decent bit of damage, to be fair. We go for a Foul Play. There's nothing to the Rotom, of course, as you expect. So in theory, we could have gone for a Spore there. They might be thinking we'll do that this turn, though. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. If they go into Espeon to absorb the Spore because of the Magic Bounce, so not absorb the Spore, but deflect the Spore and back to us, it's not a big deal. Let's go for the Spore just to see what they're going to do. And they go for a Volt Switch, which is fair enough. They might have been expecting us to switch out there, not wanting to take the Hexes and stuff. So let's see how this plays out for them. Let's see what they go into. Let's see what they go into. Faith comes in. That's the Espeon. So Espeon's going to deflect the Spore. It's going to get some Stealth Rock damage, which is great. And like I said, we're going to deflect the Spore. So Spore is going to be deflected by Magic Bounce. And I think it still plays the little mushroom animation. No, it doesn't, because it doesn't affect us. So I'm wondering what to do here. And we know this thing's Choice Specs. That's the thing. We know it's Choice Specs. They haven't Terra'd yet. They could easily Terra Fire to take out the Scizor switch. So I'm leaning towards sacking off Espeon. I think I will sack off Espeon. I don't think we need Espeon for anything, really. We're going to withdraw our Amoonguss, and we're going to go into our Espeon real quick. Espeon can take Psychic, probably, but he can't take anything else, and I'm just kind of sacking at this point. They are Morning Sun, so they are actually not a Specs Espeon like I originally thought, which is good to note. We are leftovers now, so we can definitely take a hit from this thing if we want to. I'm wondering what item it's got. It hasn't got leftovers, which is interesting, so I wonder what item it has. Let's go for a Dazzling Gleam real quick, just to get some chip damage off on this Espeon if we can win the speed tie. Other than that, I'm just going to go ahead and let my Espeon go down. So Dazzling Gleam comes through. We outspeed, which is nice. Get a bit of chip damage off. They go for a Dazzling Gleam of their own. And that nearly takes us out, which is fine by me. Absolutely fine by me. So what we can do is they probably won't go for a Morning Sun here because we're still doing like decent damage. So I'm going to go for the Dazzling Gleam again. We go for another Dazzling Gleam. Nearly takes them out. They go for a Morning Sun. Absolutely fine by me. Not too fussed about that. Again, like I said before, mainly doing this to sack off the Espeon, so I'm not really bothered about them Morning Sunning and stuff. I think this next turn they attack us though, so I'm going to go for another Dazzling Gleam. They're going to withdraw. Okay, they're going to withdraw their Espeon, which is an interesting choice, and they're going to go into the Rotom. So Rotom comes through. Fair enough, Rotom comes through. They're probably thinking, right, you know, this isn't going anywhere, so let's go ahead and switch out. So Dazzling Gleam comes through, does minimal damage to the Rotom. Again, I'm sacking Espeon off it here at this point, so I'm not too bothered about Espeon being around, because once that Quackball gets an Aqua Step off, it's just going to KO us. Cinderace could have Sucker Punch, a Stellar Rock and Lycan Rock, and then the best thing I can do really is just to attack this Rotom with full power. So let's go for a Psychic real quick, get some damage off on this Rotom. Bit of damage as they go for a Hex, and that's going to KO the Espeon, no problems there. So Espeon does go down, which is fine by me. Good old Dazzle. Did his job at the end of the day, did his job. So we weaken the Rotom, which is great. I'm thinking that what we need to do here is we need to go into our Walking Wake now. The reason being is simply because we've weakened everything to the point where we can just take this thing out. So let's go into Leviathan real quick. There we go. And now I'm wondering whether or not we can take this, because Dazzle Psychic did a decent chunk of damage to it. I'm thinking we Tera Electric because they might try and Thunder Wave us. So I'm going to Tera Electric, Tera Blast. I think that's the way to go. So there we go. We're going to Tera our Walking Wake into Tera Electric. The idea behind Tera Walking Wake Electric is so we can hit those pesky, bulky water types for super effective damage. We have Expert Belt to try and bluff the choice item, which helps out a lot. It's a good Walking Wake set, to be honest with you. I think you definitely give it a try. So Tera Blast is going to come through. We're going to get that Tera Electric real quick, and that should take out the Rotom from there. Nearly. But hopefully they went for a Thunder Wave. They go for a Volt Switch. So Volt Switch comes through. It's going to do minimal damage to us, of course. And let's see what they go into now. Let's see what they go into now. Probably the Lycan Rock. We did get the booster energy for speed, so we should be outspeeding everything on the team pretty much. Quackball comes in. Now, what I'm thinking of doing here is Draco Meteoring because I feel like they're going to Tera. I think that's why they brought it in. So I'm going to go for a Draco Meteor right now. They do stay in, though, without Terroring, and they're going to go down to a critical Draco Meteor. So we could have Tera Blasted there. I really thought the reason they brought Quackball in was just to literally let it go down to Tera Electric. Well, I thought they would Tera. So Lycan Rock the Spacey is going to come in, which is fair enough. Lycan Rock the Spacey comes in. We literally, all we need to do now is just set up with Scizor at some point against like the Espeon or something, or this thing. So let's go for a Hydro Steam. We've got 15 seconds left. They're going to Tera. What type are they going to Tera into though? Are they going to go Tera Ground? So that Drill Run? Looks like Tera Dark. So Tera Dark comes through. That means they're not going to take much damage from this Hydro Steam. So let's see how this plays for us. So we've got no more time left of the battle. They go for a Sucker Punch boosted by Tera. Does some decent damage, but it's not quite enough to get the KO as we go for a Hydro Steam. And that should do about half. Not even that. Okay, fair enough. Not even that. So unfortunately, that is the end of the game. We can select our move, but it's not going to let us do anything. So GG Envy, that was a pretty close one. Let me know in the comments who you think wins this one if we had more time. I'm personally on the fence about it. I don't really know. I feel like we had a good chance of winning, but Stupid timer, eh? Stupid timer. So anyway, thank you for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.